So if you're like many people, you're probably pretty confused with how much cardio you should do by the end of your reverse diet. Well, by the end of this video, you'll not only know how much cardio you should be doing, but also how to taper it down in a way that allows you to help minimize fat gain during the process and get some more time back in your life. Alright, now to answer the question of how much reverse dieting, first you need to figure out what your future goals are, because there's different scenarios that will require different levels of effort. And in one scenario, it's finishing a cutting phase, you're looking to get your calories back up, bring your cardio back down, you're just kind of looking to roughly maintain, maybe live an active, healthy lifestyle, no future plans to cut, or at least not anytime soon. Or you're looking to improve your metabolism as much as possible, you're trying to set yourself up for a future cut, and you want to do it in a way to make sure you can maximize your metabolic response so that future cut goes as well as possible. All right, if you're trying to maximize your metabolism and set yourself up for a future cut, then you want to get your cardio down to around maybe 30 to 60 minutes for the week, maybe up to 2 hours in some scenarios, especially if you really enjoy cardio. You just have to understand the trade-off here, because whatever you do by the end of your reverse is what your body's going to be adapted to. So that becomes your baseline when you go into your cutting phase. So what I mean by that is, say for instance, you're doing 1 hour of cardio for the week. Well, now if you're looking to do more cardio to increase calorie expenditure and help with the cutting phase, you need to do more than 1 hour. Whereas if you're already doing 3 or 4 hours of cardio, now that's your baseline and you'd have to go above and beyond that. And now you're not really gonna be able to utilize cardio very much because of this. That being said, even though to a degree you can make the argument the less cardio you're doing, the better off you're gonna be when you do start your cut, you don't want to make the mistake of doing no cardio whatsoever. Trust me, I've done it. It's not a good situation. You got to remember, health still matters. You shouldn't be winded just walking around your living room like I used to be. So you want to make sure you're doing at least some. Now, if you're not looking to cut in the future and you're just kind of looking to roughly maintain, live an active, healthy lifestyle, now you don't necessarily have to get your cardio down as much, because not only does it not matter where your baseline is as much, but at the same time, being more active can really help with the maintenance phase of your life. And you definitely don't want to fall into the pattern of exercising a lot because you're trying to lose weight and then just completely stopping. And in this scenario, just try to get your cardio down to around an amount that is kind of reasonable for you. So this could be a range. It could be maybe 60 minutes to 120 minutes. It could be 2 hours to 3 hours. There's no right or wrong answers. What do you enjoy? What do you look forward to and be part of your healthy lifestyle? Now, I do want to clarify, when I say cardio, I'm not talking about regular walking. And I'm not here saying that walking doesn't count as cardio. I think walking is fantastic. It's a great source of additional energy expenditure in a cutting phase. It's a great way to stay active and be healthy. Walking is fantastic, but I'm talking more specific forms of cardio, whether that be something like an exercise bike, or even incline walking on a treadmill, or an elliptical, or dance classes, or whatever form of cardio you enjoy that gets the heart rate up and has you breathing a little heavier, not necessarily pounding yourself. Not that you can't do higher intensity forms of cardio if that's something you like, but in general, I'm talking about your lower to moderate intensity cardio that gives you those cardiovascular benefits that you don't really get from just regular walking. Plus, if you don't mind tracking steps, I much prefer to track steps separately from your total amount of cardio time done, because your steps not only account for the walking you do intentionally, but also the rest of your life walking, and that can make a big difference. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone who changes jobs and all of a sudden becomes much more or less active. Say for instance, you went from sitting behind a computer all day to now being on your feet doing construction or being a waitress or something like that. All of a sudden you're burning way more calories. So I like to account for all of that together and then get your regular cardio separately. Now, as I get into how you should taper your cardio down, of course it depends, especially on how much you're doing, but also depends on what's most important to you. Understand there's a trade-off between increasing calories and reducing activity levels. So if you prefer to get your calories up faster to enjoy more food, you can decrease your cardio slower and increase calories faster. Or if you want to get more time and do less cardio faster, you can do that and then bring up your calories slower. There isn't a right or wrong answer, but also understand your calories burned from your exercise. If you're looking at like an Apple Watch or any type of monitor that it will tell you calories burned, it's not going to be right. They're horribly inaccurate. There's been research that's shown, I think it was up to like 85% errors in these. So they can be useful to know kind of how active you are in general, but not to get actual calories burned from. So please don't get caught up in that and be careful trying to make a 1-for-1 equation in calories burned from exercise versus how much you eat. What's most important is to be consistent with your diet and exercise, and then monitor and adjust based on how that's going. Now, as a general recommendation for how fast to decrease your cardio, if you're doing 2 hours per week of cardio or less, but you still want to get that number down some, then I recommend dropping about 10 to 20 minutes per week. So this is not daily. Or if you're doing, say, around 2 to 4 hours of cardio, then you may want to drop your cardio around 20 to 30 minutes per week. And if you're doing more than 4 hours, especially if you're doing tons of cardio, then you can probably decrease a bit faster, maybe 30 to 60 minutes per week. But it also depends on how things are going. If you're in the reverse and you're losing weight like crazy, everything's going really well, you can decrease that cardio faster. If you're struggling and you're gaining weight more than you want to, then you can do it slower. Or if you find that you're maintaining, then this pace will probably work pretty well for you. But much like you adjust your calories based on how things are going, same thing goes with your cardio. What you don't want to do, however, is increase your cardio because you're terrified of gaining weight from increasing your calories. Especially if you're doing this to try to improve your metabolism. It would make no sense, because then you're really just trading off calories for cardio, but you're doing nothing for your net difference, and therefore no difference for your metabolism either. And even though it can make sense to decrease your cardio, you don't typically want to change your strength training routine based on whether you're cutting or building or maintaining. Honestly, like, the biggest differences you can possibly make for your body in the long run is not what you do when you diet, it's what you do when you don't diet. So if you utilize this time to build some good muscle and use that routine to build metabolism and really make those big changes that can't be made when you're constantly in a deficit, once you cut again down the road and strip off the extra body fat, that's when the most astonishing, jaw-dropping changes are made. But don't fall into the pattern you probably have in the past, and so many people do, and that is kind of just fall off on the training side of things, and then as soon as you go into a diet, it's like, okay, now I'm going to start going from 0 to 1 days per week to now I'm doing 4, 5, 6, hell, maybe even 7 days per week. Do not do that. Take advantage of all this extra food and the fact that you're going to perform better and get stronger and really build the foundation for your future success, because there's nothing more powerful for body composition than strength training. So take advantage of that. Now, when it does come to metabolism, however, you may have noticed that as you get older, it seems like your metabolism's slowing down. It gets harder to lose weight. You can't eat as much as you used to. And I get it, it's frustrating, but what may surprise you is your metabolism doesn't actually change a whole lot from age alone. There's something that happens during that time that explains it better, and I explain what that is in this top video you can check out next. Otherwise, I think you'll like this bottom video instead, and I'll see you in that other video.